My name is Glaucia Lemos, and regional cloud advocate in the whole Latin America in Microsoft, especially in open source and technologies such as JavaScript, Node.js, AI, chatbots, VR. So if you want to know more updates and news about these stacks or technologies, follow me on Twitter because every week I post different news and some free ebooks there, okay? So, I don't know, can you hear the song? Yes? Not? Yes, it's additionally. Nice, and today let's talk about TypeScript. So, JavaScript subset mode most loved by all developers.
Os diretores fizeram essa cena pra parecer guerra infinita.
Tá tocando no YouTube.
Sorry. So let me again here, right now, again. So, can you hear the Back to the Future song? Nice. So today let's talk about TypeScript. So JavaScript subset more loved by all developers. So whether they are backend or frontend developer. So this is the topic that I will talk today. Back to the Future with TypeScript. So just one question: Who knows TypeScript here? Raise your hand. Nice. So let's go. Well, who never waste 2 hours debugging a broken JavaScript just because you're missing a color brace or worse, a semicolon? Who here has gone through a similar situation? Please raise your hand here. Nice. I have been through this situation several times, a number of times, so this is not something very easier to deal. So, or worst, when you have no idea what's going on or are you doing in the code. Sometimes the code is so poorly developed that you are afraid to change anything. This is something usually happen in some developer groups in the company all the time. For example, does anyone here know what this code is doing? You can raise your hand. I know this is very afraid what happened here. This code is simply looping from 0 to 10. But in JavaScript we can do this in different ways. But why? Because we don't have types in these numbers, which can cause us server-side issues. So the worst thing in JavaScript, because we can type things. So this can cause several numerous problems or issues. So that's why for some developers, JavaScript is something not from the God, not a gift from the God. It's a devil. It's a devil. But calm down. Not everything is lost, because everything that is a light in the end of the tunnel. In this case, so we have TypeScript. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about TypeScript. What is TypeScript? So TypeScript is, we really value open source and open development. And all of you will see this entire TypeScript team is spending all time and creating some pull requests in GitHub. So that's why TypeScript is open source and open development, and closely track ECMAScript standard, innovating type system, best of breed tooling, and continually lower barrier to entry, and community, and community. Okay? So, this is, we can see clearly in this slide that that's why TypeScript is the one of the projects with the most contributions on GitHub, because of each of you here, or anyone in the title of the whole world, can help us to create some new features by creating pull requests or send some issues for us. This is very important. A different way to thinking about Microsoft, because Microsoft right now is very open source company. So each of you here in this stage can help us create some pull requests or send us some issues for us. Anyone here knows this guy? Okay, this guy is creator of TypeScript and C#, Delphi, and many other languages. His name is Anders Hellsberg. I have the opportunity to meet him this year during the Build 2019. He's a humble person. He's walking around closely to the developers and asking for some issues or pull requests, something that we need to improve a little bit more in TypeScript. This is a very humble attitude. This is very insane because he's the guy, but he's a very humble person. So if you find him in some event, you can talk to him for sure. So I don't know if you can see here, we can see a little image here from the annual Stack Overflow survey 2019. So we can see from this graph that TypeScript has been gaining more fans among developers year after year. So just below from the Rust language and the Python, and above from the, for example, C#, Golang, Elixir, Clojure, Swift. So each by year, many developers have been using TypeScript. Here are some companies that are using TypeScript, especially Google. It's insane to talk that all the TypeScript team working together with the developers, Google developers together. This is very important because our main goal is to give to all of you here the best product for all of you. So we can see here Google, Netflix, GitHub, and Reddit, or even Slack. So many good companies are using TypeScript. So TypeScript is the feature of JavaScript because we can use ECMAScript 6, 7, and ES8. Strong support for orient programming. This is very interesting for one who likes to use JavaScript. Static typing, what makes debugging very easier. We know that debugging JavaScript is very hard for us. But when you use TypeScript with Visual Studio Code, it's something that we have delightful to debugging some code block, sorry. And returns errors before the runtime, which avoids breaking the code before it executed. So that's why TypeScript is the feature. So let's do some demo here, because talk is cheap. Let's see TypeScript in action. Let me see here if I can use my VS Code here. Oops. Let me, okay, nice. So here we can see a class in TypeScript which return a name, and we can see here a similar code with JavaScript, with C# or Java, and it's very easier to read this code, right? So if you want to use this code, I just need to let me see here where I am. Other interesting thing, who is using VS Code here? Raise your hand. A few people here, okay. It's an interesting point here that TypeScript, VS Code is developed all using TypeScript. So the team TypeScript developed some issues, some features. It's very interesting to say about it. So let's running this application. So we can see here TypeScript code. So we need first transpile this code to JavaScript. For this, I will use a command called Ctrl+B. Here we're transpiling a code here. Nice. Already transpiled for us this code, and in the end, transform it in this code. Nice. Now I want to execute the code. I just need to use Node.js. Oops. Let me. Nice. Classes. CD. Nice. I'm assigned. Okay. And running beautiful way JavaScript. Other worst thing to creating JavaScript is, let me show all of you here, is, inheritance. Inheritance in JavaScript, so it's just something it's not a gift from God, you know. So we can see here our class called person. We have a property here, a protected property called name, where I use a constructor fun. And here I will extend employees with person. I just need to use just only the keyword called extends to inheritance some classes. So to execute this code is very simple. We have to transpile this code first. We go to terminal here. Nice. And first I need to transpile this code first. Okay. Cool. We can see here the transpile files here. For example, this is the TS file. And this is the transpiler file in JS. This is a very mess, right? But let's execute this code here. Nice. And we can see here a console.log called, hi, my name is Glaucia Lemos and I work in the development and innovation department. So it's pretty easier to use TypeScript. So if you never tested before TypeScript, I recommend to try to test a little bit more. And you can use TypeScript with backend because every developers use TypeScript with Angular or framework from front end, but you can use TypeScript with Node.js or Nest.js. This is very interesting thing. Oops, let me, I can, nice, I can, back to the slide. So, let's see some interesting things about some updates from TypeScript 3.0. Oops. Just a second. Okay. Now in TypeScript we can use tuples. Is something very difficult or hard to use in JavaScript. So TypeScript 3.0 introduces a new type called unknown and tuples. Just a second. Nice. With these features, becomes possible to strongly type a number of hyper or order functions that transforms functions in their parameters lists. So let me show you here. Oh, what's happening here? Sorry. I have some issues here with my PowerPoint. Okay, now, yes, some tuples. Nice, okay. So, when REST parameter has a tuple type, the tuple type is expanded into a sequence of discrete described parameters. So, for example, the following two declarations are equivalent to two functions here. So it's very important that we have an expression here using a REST parameters with tuples. So it's pretty easier to use tuples in TypeScript because in JavaScript it's so hard to develop this kind of situation. Other interesting thing that I don't know, I don't like this type, because we have in TypeScript a type called any. But is something that I don't understand why they created this type. This is something that I talked to Anders Helsberg. Why you created this type? Because we already have any type, So let me try to explain a little bit more about unknown type. So with unknown type, we can use a type-safe counterpart, any. So anything is a signing blow to I know. For example, I want to use a type, I want to use a determined type that I want to use at different types. It's very hard to try to understand that. So, for example, name in this type could be, I can type using unknown. Unknown could be number, any, boolean, or everything. So, likewise, no operations are permitted in unknown without first assertion or narrowing to a more specific type. This is very important to say here. Let me try to again. Yes, let's talk about unknown type. This is something that we learned and in math, especially when I study math in the high school, right? Unknown types. So in prior versions of TypeScript 3.5, actually TypeScript 3.3, we can use unions. So we can call it different types could only be invoked if they had identical parameter lists. So in TypeScript 3.3, some parameters of these signatures are intersected together to create a new signature. So in this example above, the parameters fruit and color are intersected together. That you can see here right now. Okay, there is intersection or union here. So the result is each of these impossible intersections reduced forwards to never, and we are left with orange, or each is just orange. So use unknown types in TypeScript letters very easier to read that some response in this code is very important for us. Because try to connect these union types in JavaScript, I can imagine how can I develop this in JavaScript, right? Let's back here together. And the other important thing in the new version of the TypeScript is the Omit helper type. So what is the Omit helper type? In TypeScript 3.5 introduces a new Omit helper type, which creates us a new type with some properties dropped from the original. So here we are able to copy over all the properties of a person, except for location, use the Omit helper. So this is very important, feature in TypeScript, because this is an issue created for a Chinese person. Every feature created from the community came from the Chinese people, Indian persons. They are very smart persons. So this is very interesting because this is an issue created from the community, and the TypeScript team include us in the TypeScript 3.5. Nice. All the group has a goal, and the TypeScript team is not different. So we have a roadmap which began in January and end into June 2019. So this roadmap is meant to give our team and users a clarity over priorities for the last 6 months. So it's meant more as a set of guidelines that we have to strict set of tasks we are about to finish. So we are high level. We are going to be focused, especially the TypeScript team, on the following 5 goals, which is types on every desk and every home for every JS developer. This is very important to say here. Other good thing is the number 2 is productivity through strong tooling. This is very important because we know that when we have a strong tooling, we will develop a better application for the final client or customer. Sorry. Approachability and UX, community engagement, because this 4th point is very important for us because we don't create a language for us, for the TypeScript team. We create a language for all of you here. So when we receive some features or some issues from all of you, this is a way that we are hearing everyone here. So it's very important, this engagement with the community. And number 5, infrastructure engineering system, because we want to deliver a better language to different operation systems, even using Windows, Linux, Mac, or other stuffs. So if you want to see more information about this roadmap here, you can access the link below here. So I think that I already finished my talk here. So if you have any questions, please follow me on Twitter. All the demos is already in my GitHub repository. So I do some live coding Twitch, not do some gaming code. So I'm trying to do every 2 weeks a live coding, or try to do prep programming, especially with a different framework or different stack. So if you want to follow me on Twitter or Twitch, you can follow me there. So that's it. So I have around to 20 minutes. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. And I developed this little project using JavaScript, HTML, CSS. So with JavaScript, you can develop everything. You can use JavaScript in different ways, using backend, front-end, or even IoT or create some AI projects. If you want to know a little bit more about this little project, you can connect to me on Twitter or even after this beautiful project, this beautiful event. That's it. I don't have too much things to show more here. So thank you very much, people. Goodbye.